That's right, EHOME versus CDEC, a match that many would be forgiven if they were thinking they were watching the winner's bracket matchup. But no, this is actually the loser's bracket matchup. Probably two teams that you didn't really expect to be seeing facing up against each other. Capitalist and joined by Split.
Oh my god.
Oh Jesus, are they actually going to be...
Yo! They're gonna get spotted, there's no way.
There's no way. They start out with the early sentry ward. They're trying to bounce this one out. They have healing cells. They've already taken out one of the sentry wards. EHOME is currently trapped right now. They're going to try and fight this one out. Kaka is already leading with a little bit of decay on both. They've got Aggressive on 5. They're actually going to be able to chase him down here. They're going to be able to surround him. CDC, they've just stumbled into a first blood trap, it seems, as Aggressive first to go down. And Gil, he may be caught as well. Old 11's going to be able to slow him down with the Void. EHOME just keep on moving forward. Gardner viewlessly trying to jump on Old Chicken, managing to actually slow down the team long enough and get them away from the Winter Wyvern. Now trying to get away from the counter ward, but ever so barely with just 20 HP left. EHOME somehow, XC, he managed to get the bounty rune at least. This may actually be not the worst thing in the world if they can get both bounty runes. See if the Faithful Boys should be able to get out with a quick time walk away, and we're all good to go now. What a weird way to start this matchup.
We had all these prepared statements about the picks and how it was gonna play out, and then all of a sudden, EHOME goes for this level 1 roast strat, and I don't really understand why they felt these teams are going to be somewhat ready for it, or at least the bounty hunter is going to scout the accompanying area. So it was a little bit more dangerous than it had to be, but it didn't really matter because there's no way CDEC knew that there was going to be a 5-man roll. They probably just thought like, okay, we'll just send 1 or 2 of these heroes in. And then as soon as the sentry ward's laid out, Aggressive is pretty much in no man's land, but Old 11, 100% going to go down here.
He completely surrounded, is going to be able to take it out by the tri-lane of CDEC. But let's actually talk about some of those prepared statements now that the laning phase has kind of played itself out. CDEC going back to some of what they used to know, as picking up the gyrocopter and bounty hunter heroes that we saw from, of course, TI.
Yeah, and it's more just designed to kind of help out their supports, because the bounty hunter, one of those heroes that doesn't really fall under the support category necessarily, but he's going to be annoying, get in people's faces, force the enemy supports to be pretty poor. More than that, he just strengthens the lanes a lot. Like, the Night Stalker never really knows when he can play up, and Old 11 is kind of a dangerous, live on the edge type of player anyways. He's the type of offlaner that's willing to push things and willing to die often just to get a little bit more XP, but he's being punished heavily here. He's going to go down a secondary time. Aggressive is the one to pick up the kill, and it seems like perhaps this Undying mid is not really working out so much for them. I think they expected the bounty hunter. In fact, we were talking about the idea of aggro dual lanes being a good way to be able to counter the bounty hunter and force him downwards, but this doesn't seem to be playing into EHOME's hands at all. They're actually keeping Kaka mid, and the bounty hunter is destroying bottom. And that's a really smart kind of game sense from Carter to say, okay, the Undying's going to be mid. There's not a whole lot of opportunities for me to kill this OD, especially when he's got the Astral. I might as well go for this bottom lane, because Old 11, he knows that he's the type of player to get really aggressive. But
what an unfortunate Invis rune, unless... it takes the long way around. Meanwhile, they're actually going to be able to chase down Old Chicken here pretty easily, has no imprisonment, and will be just run down Fairy Fire or no. CDEC hitting hard here in the laning phase after giving up that first blood in that awkward Roshan scenario, but picking up both bounty runes and being able to get all the kills after that, they seem to be doing pretty well for themselves. XZ is doing pretty damn well against this dual lane. We were talking about how Lion as a heavy disabler is really quite strong against Faceless Void, able to kind of mitigate some of that power of Time Walk, but he seems to really know how to challenge this lane, and it's perhaps why CDEC are so willing to first pick the Faceless Void time and time again. But is he going to be caught? No, easily able to get out once again.
Yeah, the CTY just wasn't quite ready for that. And the Ursa's really good against the Void just because the Fury Stripes continue to apply. But at the same time, the Lion and him have to sync up pretty well. And the Lion probably has to be level 3 before any sort of attempt like that happens. But I really thought it was going to be an off lane Undying to pair with the Night Stalker, put a little bit more pressure. You probably don't get a lot, but you force Garter to stay on the southern side of the map, and you prevent what just happened mid.
Do you think that was a bit of a stumble by EHOME, picking up the Undying with the Gyrocopter still out there in the pool? It's a hard hero to try and aggro a lane against, particularly with the way that Flat Cannon deals with Tombstone.
Yeah, I thought they could deal with the Lina pretty well with what they had. So I figured that they would ban out the Gyro.
Well, we have our first nighttime coming in. See if Old 11 is able to be of a bit more use was at that bottom lane. Fortunately, no boots just yet. This off-lane Night Stalker does go a bit of a different build than the 4-position Night Stalker, and as such, Old 11 has just been left with a Stout Shield so far.
Alright, so this OD usually does okay against Viper right now. The Viper's already got the Ring of Aquila and almost the Mystic completed. And at that point, you're perfectly fine in this. The Viper can be somewhat self-sufficient, but in the draft itself, we were talking about how EHOME, the way that they play is a little bit wonky to begin with, and CDEC, they're Radiant, Void early on. Seems like they kind of practice this like one set style,
Right.
and it's really just dependent on like they take the Void, and then from there on, they roll with whatever they have.
Mm-hmm.
But prior to their series, like when they played against Secret, they were giving Shiki like the semi-carry mid, and I feel like this kind of mid is a lot better overall, and they're gonna make the attempt on Old Chicken.
Yeah, once again, Taka's gonna be able to meet him though, and they actually had the Sentry Ward out, but not able to really catch much there. They get the stun onto Shiki, but it's only a level 1, so it doesn't mean much, and CDC back up pretty freely, but...
This Lion really has to get his level 3.
But yeah, the more aggressive style mids, right? For Shiki, this is why he was so dominant on Lina. We've seen some success of the Puck as well. That seems to be a strong play from him as kind of fits his playstyle. Q is going to be chased down by Old 11 here. Shouldn't have any issues though. In fact, it's going to be Old 11 who's got to be careful not overextending himself once again.
Man, EHOME's just getting shut down around the map, and I put a lot of this on Garter. He's just making so many different rotations that are working out. It feels like he's just everywhere on the map right now. So CDEC, you know, they've got the upper hand when it comes to these rotations, whereas EHOME are playing almost entirely reactionary cap.
Yeah.
Like they're saying to themselves, okay, our bottom lane needs help, but we're already mid. So then we'll start heading kind of to that bottom section of the map, but there's no kill opportunity there. And then while that's happening, Garter's already on the move for the mid lane, and he's killing the OD, so just a little bit too far behind, and now Lanam is gonna...
That's a very big kill. But Gyrocopter is going to be met with Taka here as he tries to come in for the side, but Garter easily spots him out, and, well, that's going to be the Tombstone down as well. That's a huge increase of gold there for Aggressive, and they're going to be able to keep more pressure on that Tier 1 tower. Once again, Garter just in the right position every single time. He just seems to be one of the fastest supports when it comes to rotating and making kills happen during the laning phase. Really setting the tempo match.
And a Bounty Hunter usually... It's a little bit difficult to run just because teams are so willing to 5-man early on and play objective beta. Bounty Hunter there is a little bit weak, but the way that CDC are running it in mid, 11's
he got picked off earlier, but he got his level 6, and that's all that was really needed to be able to successfully gank up that middle lane. And once again, Old Chicken does go down.
Oh, did CTY miss the smoke? Oh no.
Popped out. Perhaps Q? Yeah, I think he popped it.
That's so bad. He was going to go for the Roshan right there, and now CTY is kind of confused. He's saying to himself, okay, I've traveled all the way here, I TP'd, we use the smoke for this, now what? So he's just going to make his way back to top. Lanam might actually get spotted here.
He's going to fight him? Oh god, he got him too. Lanam, he's going to have to drain some mana before he has to disable. CTY is coming in. Garter, he's actually going to be taken out first. Not able to finish off Lanam in time. CTY able to get there in time to save his favorite support is now Garter Arcane Boost.
That was such a weird position. There's no way that Garter thought that CTY was going to be there.
Is he trapped? He knows he has to stay in the tree somehow and juke Old 11, but he's going to come down eventually, and Old 11 will find him. He has the Void still. He's going to wait it out, bounce him up, and should be able to right-click him down. It's going to be a bit of a dive, though. Old 11 is going to commit as Daytime now pops. No, the Gyrocopter is going to be able to finish him off, and Q walks away ever so barely.
That's gotta hurt. Old 11 is just really hurt his team so far with going 0-3-1. He's picked up some levels, but the amount of deaths that he has in the offlane so far, really hard to justify that kind of performance. But Garter, we're seeing the replay here is
easy pickoff left and right. Just it seems like as a whole EHOME are just not able to really find much of a footing there. The pickoff on Garter was pretty inconsequential. Let's talk about the Ursa though. That's definitely one of the heroes that you know, you go back perhaps a month or two ago and you wouldn't have seen a whole lot of, but nowadays we're seeing a lot more Ursas pick up, specifically with this Mask of Madness build. What is it about Ursa that is really a strong pick right now?
His ultimate pretty much gives him invulnerability in the early game. It does quite well. He's one of those carries that can really help us support out just because one's done and he's able to nuke down anybody. And the Roshan potential is so high that you can set the game tone and play incredibly fast, but...
Right, which makes it particularly stronger on the Dire side.
Yeah, it's good against the Viper too, because the Viper traditionally, he's got, you know, he's got the corrosive skin, you get a mech, you get some tanky items, but I don't care.
XD, this is going to be a constant ganking spot, it seems, as pretty much everyone is trying to run some sort of aggressive ward. If you're running an offlaner who's going to be farming up those offlane camps, know that the enemy is going to try and get an aggressive ward to spot that out and gank you time and time again, because while you're doing it, you're probably sitting at about a half HP until that Morbid Mask is up for Faceless Void. He's just chipping away at his own HP points.
Right now, CDEC are in a pretty great position, actually. They haven't even had to rely on bounty track gold, and they've got a decent gold lead that they've built up so far. For EHOME, they're getting their Ursa involved. Really important. He's been a part of all 4 kills right now. You want to pump him up full of levels if you can, and bottom, they're going to go for the dive again. You have to respond to this, though.
There's going to be 1 TP, 2 more. Now the Gyrocopter ultimate is going to go down. They're going to be able to keep Tristan holding Gyrocopter here. Let's see if they can actually combo him down, though. They get a couple of nukes, but it's still, they're just too much slow coming out from that Gyro ult. So they're going to try and run down 1 more. Garter's going to show himself real quickly, get off the Shuriken, and now Old Chicken is quite low. Nice Chronosphere. XD coming in, going to be able to lock down 2 with the Red Steve over the top. He'll be able to get both of these kills quite easily. Meanwhile, Viper does go farther down as CTY and Lana were able to pick him off, but still, that's a big win for CDEC, not only getting the big mid of EHOME, taking the OD out of play, which is so critical, right? Because OD as a mid is much more of kind of that carry later on into the game past 25 minutes.
Honestly, that's just so demoralizing that you dive past a tier 2 for this like level 5 undying. Nobody on your team can respond, and when they finally do come and respond, the Void is just there, and XZ has been the star so far for CDEC. Throughout the first 3 games that they played against Secret, and he kind of continues on. And that Void Chrono,
perfect timing from XZ. Great rotation by him.
It almost gives the level 6 to the Bounty Hunter too.
Big pickup as CDEC's kind of aggressive playstyle is really going to be able to play off of that bounty gold. Another big thing is that CDEC, their aggression right now is completely shutting down Roshan opportunities for EHOME. This is supposed to be kind of this snowball effect that Ursa as a carry is able to implement more so than any other carry, but CTY just hasn't found his opening yet.
And Garter has just been annoying. He's been playing on this side of the map. Same with the rest of his team. You notice that Q and Aggressive, they don't really invade the safe lane like they normally do. They just play around their jungle area, around this bottom safe lane, so that they can respond to it instantly. You want to make absolute sure that EHOME can't go for that free Roshan. It's one of their few ways back into the game. You want to deny it if you can. Kind of play this pressure game at all times. Pressuring EHOME just by denying that Roshan. And EHOME's like, okay, well, what are we supposed to do now? A lot of this game is now going to flow through Old 11. He's got to make some kills happen as top.
He's trying to go for Garter. He will be able to pick up this kill, but it's going to be sacrificed. Shiki will be able to get the counter, and that is definitely not worth the trade-off. Keeps the Bounty Hunter from getting level 6, but obviously Viper's pretty happy with that pick.
Overall, gold change going in favor of CDEC.
But that was a rotation, right? Seeing the Viper there in the top lane does allow an opening finally for EHOME to slide into the Roshan pit and see if they can take it real quickly with this Mask Madness and Rage.
This is one of your few great opportunities that you have. You forced everybody over, Old 11, kind of playing that highlight die roll, willing to die just to force everybody over, but you've got to be ready for the fight.
XZ, he's almost there with the Chronosphere. It's going to be close, but to get off the Hex, they're able to stop that. Tombstone's out. The Chronosphere is still ready to go. XZ managed to catch both in a beautiful position. They're going to deal with the Tombstone first, and then start going on CTY, but he's in Rage, tanked up everything, and EHOME now going to be able to, oh, great, Witcher's Curse coming out. Perfect timing from Q, stun up on XZ. They'll take him out, and there goes the Aegis. CDC keep moving forward, but a big nuke laying on the Gyrocopter. They get him out. Old Chicken's going to be down, but CTY, he spawned right next to Shiki, and he's going to look to take him out after this hold from Q is over. They're going to be able to slow him down a little bit more, but the slows are too much to handle. They're kiting around CTY beautifully, and Shiki, he knows he's got this kill in the back. No! He turns too early, and CTY will pick up the kill before he dies. Meanwhile, Kaka, he's having a support battle out with Garter, who's Shuriken needs a little bit more damage. He's going to dive in deep for this one. He knows he's got the Janata. A little bit of heal. Kaka will be able to survive, and it's Garter who's forced away. A nuke comes out from the Winter Wyvern, but it's not in time. Kaka will be able to retreat successfully.
Shiki, you greedy bastard. I was like,
I can't believe he turned around like that. That was he did not expect the wand charges.
it's not even the turnaround. It's that he could have just moved 2 feet forward.
Yep.
Like continue. The Viper Strike was on him. He can create distance, and then you can play the kite game with your poison attack. But still, overall, does okay there because they took a Roshan. That's a decent golden fusion, but CDEC.
But it's not like EHOME are going to be able to utilize that. I mean, they just got shut out in that fight. Looks like Q is probably going to be able to get away here from the Night Stalker. CTY is actually going to try and chase him down with a newly picked up Blink Dagger, but a good Cold Embrace actually stops that aggression. And EHOME are going to be forced away. In fact, Gyrocopter is going to try and land the ultimate. CTY shows a bit too fast, though, with a Phase Boots Mask of Madness combination. You just go up to, like, max movement speed so easily.
They probably... Thing is, you rotated 4 heroes here, but taking this mid tower is still dangerous. It's one of the towers that teams are just going to contest for, and you see Old 11 hold forward, and they're going to get the free top tower as a result of this. And it's pretty significant for EHOME.
They're already soaking up a lot of these decay charges. Old Chicken's TP ready in 5 seconds, so is Lion. And the tower is about to go down. EHOME are not going to be able to contest.
EHOME decides to take that top tower instead.
Yeah.
You can see it as a 1-for-1 tower trade, and in that context it's okay, but much more valuable taking the mid tower than it is.
Oh, absolutely. Especially with the control offers. XD is going to be hexed up. Nice long-range initiation there from Lana, but XD... Oh, no! He thought he had the mana, but that intelligence skill is too much for him to handle. Old Chicken is going to be majorly slowed down as Aggressive is going to be able to run him down. Lana just needs to abandon his teammate, but Aggressive knows he's got one kill in the back, and he wants the other one. He's going to be able to chase down Lana as well, while he made clean up the kill on the OD.
I believe that was back-to-back track too, for the Bounty Hunter, and 4 teammates that are readily available there too. Most of the time, I feel like this Winter Wyvern hero really fallen off, but the way that he's using the Cold Embrace and the way that he used the Winter's Curse in the Roshan pit fight almost makes it look okay.
Yeah, the way that Ursa is such a like kind of bursty physical damage dealer. Like once you have just that 4-second disable Cold Embrace that just kind of stops his focus on one hero, it just kind of destroys him. He's not really able to move out from there.
For EHOME, the bright spot is that CTY is still getting a lot on the map. The Blink Dagger and Master Madness timing is pretty strong, and it looks like they're going to collapse. The CTY going from behind.
Nice pick off on Carter. It's going to be starting off here. Meanwhile, Kaka's trying to draw the attention. The right everyone you see lays out the tombstone. CTY right in the middle of everything here is going to pop that in range, taking up all the Gyrocopter damage. But again, the slows are causing issues. Now they're going to be able to catch one here easily with the imprisonment. They actually have the Witcher's Curse laid out onto Old Chicken with 3 different heroes hitting onto him. But XD, oh, a 5-man chrono, and now CDC going to make them huge turnaround, taking out 2 at least. They're going to look for Lonham, controlling him. He managed to get up an impale, but it doesn't matter. It's not going to be enough to save anybody. Only the Ursa will survive. CDC once again bailed out by XD's beautiful timing.
For half a second there, EHOME, they're getting back into this game. You should have ditched that Viper. You're not going to be able to save him. XD comes out of nowhere, gets a 5-man chrono off. How often do you see that happen? Is EHOME, they're trying to consolidate their strength, but instead drop 4.
You can see CDC, like, they're just kind of baiting it out. He was like, oh, Witcher's Curse, lead it up into 5. XD's almost there, gets the chrono. And now, at this point in time, CDC, after a huge win like that, are going to be able to lever that into some more map control. They're going to be able to take the tier 2 at top, it looks like, unless EHOME really feel like contesting once again, which they are. They're going to try and smoke and go for that fight. It's not nighttime either, which is a little bit disconcerting, but...
Yeah, that was the issue too in the first fight at top. They picked off Carter, and then they think, even if we get a somewhat even fight, it's okay because there's not going to be Bounty Hunter trek. Kind of counterbalance things, and they're leading in XP and gold, so we might as well go for this, but... It should have just been maybe 1 or 2 hero pickoffs. It turns into 4.
Can we talk about, perhaps, is this a little bit of dysfunction coming out from CDC and item builds? Garter?
The double.
Yeah, they're both planning on going for the mech.
Yeah. I don't think DC can respond in time.
Aggressive still not have that BKB is just going to be food for fodder here, and Q gets a little bit too close too. Had to leave that Gyrocopter alone. Ends up giving an extra kill now to EHOME.
Good news for EHOME right now is that they're still making game-winning plays. Like, they're still trying to go for these 5-man engagements, look for 2 or 3 heroes, pick it off. And CDEC aren't quite ready for that. Picking up the gyrocopter too is a really significant pickup for them. They just allow your OD to get back into the game, your to climb a little bit more in XP. The good news for them is that CTY is still really farmed. I assume that's a BKB. I can't imagine it being anything else. But once he gets BKB, there's not a whole lot that's going to stop him besides the front. Even then, they don't have the burst.
Nice rotation from Lanham. Of catching out the Faceless Void who's trying to split push up that top tower. That early ether really coming into play. Lanham able to pick that one up has actually resulted in multiple pickoffs now.
He always gets it nowadays. The arcane boost build up makes him really effective. Right now, EHOME doing okay considering how this game has started and how many 4-man pickoffs CDEC have been able to find. Like, the XP is nearing 0, gold is still around 5k, but if you've got EHOME's lineup, you're still feeling pretty comfortable with the XP alone.
Right. Being said though, EHOME, a lot of their progression is right now on the Ursa, who is going to have a bit of a falling off. Not nearly as much as the old Ursa, but you do want to rely a little bit more on your Outworld Devourer going into past like 30-45 minutes, right?
For sure.
And that's a little bit concerning because he's only sitting at 6,300 net worth. He hasn't progressed too much.
It's okay though, because I would normally say yeah to the Ursa thing, but because he's playing against both a Viper and a Gyrocore, the Ursa's almost always going to be effective against both guys.
Right.
You notice that Shiki, despite how much in like height with the and all that and corrosive skin, he goes down incredibly fast to the Ursa.
Yeah, this is a general change-up. Oh, old 11. Is he actually going to be tanking this? No,
too fast.
That's going to be a smoke that's kind of wasted there for CDEC. I mean, the pickoff by itself, because it's an off-lane Night Stalker, not a 4 position, would have been okay for CDEC, but they don't even get that much.
I think they weren't even trying to really run into him. They were looking for a pickoff around that Roche timing area. And then if Roshan's up, they can go for that, or they can even go for this tier 2. The Night Stalker would have been big just for the vision game.
Radiant's bottom tower
Shiki is actually going to go for an Axe Viper, something that we haven't seen in quite some time. This is kind of the older Viper now. This is just purely because of the hiding of the Ursa they had to do, right?
Cast range too.
Right.
So CDEC feeling that they still have momentum in this game, which is correct. And they have to accomplish a lot because, again, this Ursa caused a lot of issues for them later on into the game. CTY's already got his BKB completed now too. Okay,
it's sitting off map for now. Get TP back, pick up that BKB, and they'll actually be ready to fight. This means CDEC really need a strong initiation. They do have plenty of disables that go through BKB though, so this won't be a guaranteed win for EHOME with this fresh item pickup.
I sort of think EHOME, CDEC have to be really careful. XD has been clutch for them in all of these engagements, but you can only rely on that so frequently. It's actually kind of incredible that EHOME is still doing really well in this game, and it just kind of goes to show that EHOME are finding better individual pickoffs when they find them, and most importantly, they're
TY just blinking straight up to the secret shop, just trying to see if there's anything there, but it's actually Kaka who's going to be met with the full 5. He gets off a tombstone here, and they're actually going to be able to save him there with the imprisonment. Old 11 trying to draw a little bit of attention. Kaka comes right back. CTY blowing up the gyrocopter already, and now CDEC have lost a share of their damage. CTY being the target of Winter's Curse, but he got off the BKB. He's just going to be able to keep on running through. Chronosphere that's going to be purely zoning out EHOME, preventing EHOME from being able to chase down the rest of these heroes. But XD, he was hit by the slow, so looks like he is going to be sacrificed here as a Cold Embrace. Q, maybe he gave up his life. He does have the Force Staff, is going to be able to get a TP out. Old 11 can't stop it in time, so they get 2 of the cores of CDEC, and EHOME are now going to be in a position to finally take down that Radiant mid tower that's been up for so long.
They'll go for the Roshan first.
True.
I think it matters more right now, context of the game, because the Void is down, the Chrono's down. You can get that mid tower right after this. It's just going to be there. But this Roshan, you want to absolutely secure for your team, and suddenly EHOME are looking really dangerous. And something we talked about is, even though they were down, it looks like they're down in kills, and it looks like they're giving up a little bit. They didn't lose any of their main objectives. They didn't give up Roshan, so CDEC can go for really early tier 2 tower or anything like that, and they didn't give up any of their tier 2 towers, even despite being 4-man white. Like, they instantly re-engage, smoke up S5, they find a 2-man pick-off on aggressive, they buy themselves more time, then they take that Roshan fight with the help of their BKB on Ursa, they get the Aegis.
And this is kind of EHOME's specialty, right? In that they are so good at being able to come back in the mid to late game and be able to afford to lose some of their lanes.
It's just this insane style where it's bend don't break. You pick CTY a hero that's good against the other two cores at all times, and you're going to notice this throughout the tournament. He's always going to have these favorable matchups where it feels that even though the laning phase isn't going great for his team, he can have impact.
What about this pickup from the Ursa? He's got a point booster. I expected Hex. I expected Scythe of Ice to be a pickup. Try and jump, grab the gyrocopter, blow him up. You know, be able to prevent these heroes from kiting around. But
That or Basher.
yeah, that too. Well, you know, either one of those big disables. But
I guess it's really good against the. You can pop it no matter what, right? Even while disabled.
yeah, I think it's only like
So maybe for the Void Chrono.
Not sure about the Void Chrono.
It's
but
picked so sparingly that I'm not even sure when you can.
Dire's top tower
I mean, is there any chance that it's like a Scotty in some sort of weird stat build? That, I mean, the slow would be okay. It just feels like harder disables.
I think you want to play on the offensive with this hero anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
BKB's almost complete for aggressive, but it's 25 minutes in. His farm has been a bit dwindling as he's been ripped apart by the Ursa multiple times.
Starter's got a force staff, pretty significant support pickup. They've got a force staff on
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
the Winter Wyvern as well. So these aren't completely poor supports or anything like that, but net worth-wise, they're not even doing that great compared to this line who's got Aetherland's Blink already. And he's level 11 too.
That Blink pickup is going to be perhaps so much more critical than CDEC's force staffs. Because of the way that if they get the right kind of initiation, right, they pick off the gyrocopter before BKB or they take out the Void Chronosphere, then fight's won.
EHOME's going to hit the 6 timing too. When they get their Ags on old 11, and they're going to pick up whatever item on CTY, plus got a BKB, I'd imagine, on old Chicken. And CDC are going to be really hard pressed to take that fight. It's just so demoralizing right now. You've built up a decent lead, you're controlling tempo, and all of a sudden you lose 2 team fights and home have the advantage. And that's what we said in the pregame show as well. This bend don't break style where they're able to hold on just enough so that CTY, playing whatever core he is, can counter your 2 cores.
The 5-man smoke into mid. They realize that EHOME are actually all bottom. They're not in a position to quickly defend that tier 2 tower. And perhaps nor should they. EHOME are going to try and wrap around here. The glyph is going to be running out though. They are actually in an okay position to try and jump CDEC, but you don't want to be going high ground. CTY, he's going to gladly jump up there though. They managed to get the force staff onto Cheeky, buying him a little bit more time, but he's still going to be blown up. It looks like that golden braid eventually is going to go down. They're going to be able to take him out with pure damage of the OD. Now XD forced to use the Chronosphere. That's not going to be a great one. And CTY still holding on to that Aegis. And here comes Old Chicken. He's got the ultimate ready to drop too. He's hoping to be able to hold it off until the BKB's down. But aggressive, that 10-second BKB is doing so much work. Winter's Curse on CTY with just a sliver of HP left, but it's aggressive, still trying to fight it out with some of these supports, but they got it controlled up. Without that BKB, he can't do anything more. Kaka's going to be able to stay alive, and CTY managed to pick up the kill on that Winter Wyvern without dropping that Aegis.
5-man team wipe, all you lose is the OD, and that's kind of funny though. Old Chicken just strolls in, he's like, I got this, guys. Yep. Don't worry, we don't need aggressive. Just walks in, gets shot immediately, blown up, but it doesn't even matter because CTY still had the Aegis the entire time through. CDEC, they had to know that that engagement was going to happen. Even without the tower available, EHOME, they have the Night Stalker, it was nighttime. On top of that, they had the Aegis for so much longer. Almost no chance that they were going to win that fight.
And CTY now has the opportunity to get that Ags if he wants to. Let's see. Way that they just could not seem to blow up CTY, and even if they did, it wouldn't have mattered. The Aegis was still a go, and the only reason that that fight looked at all okay for aggressive in particular was because of that 10-second BKB. The moment it ran out, you just got destroyed by the disables of the Lion.
That's really critical too. The way that CDEC they like to run it is this first BKB timing, this 10-second one, matters a lot to them. Cap. That's the we to guarantee win this fight. It's just not going to scale as well as Gyro is, for example. And
Kaka, he's going to be going down here, CDC, with a rather sneaky 5-man TP into that tier 1 tower. They knew that EHOME was going to be making the rotation across. That being said, they didn't actually gain that much out of it. It was heavy rotation. All they picked off was the support and kept that tier 1 alive.
The EHOME style, though. deceptive. We talked about this even before this game when we were in our room saying, okay, EHOME, they let you take these little kills, they let you kill old 11, and you think it matters because you're ahead by 8 or 9 kills. Then you realize you've killed this 2K, 3K network hero, all the while CTY is getting kills and farming to his heart's content. They're gonna take his mid too, but CDEC, they're just gonna keep going for it. They know that the Ursa doesn't have the Aegis. Probably one of the better timings for it too. They know that the glyph is down as well.
Gotta have some TPs back from EHOME. As CTY is gonna be last man in. Nice done there from Lonham. Actually, will be able to get the pick off on it. He's gonna get out. Chronosphere, CTY. Angry Bear starts charging forward. Winter's Curse laid out. Old Chicken barely clipping himself as he tried to blink forward to catch one more. See if they can actually get it with a Night Stalker who's surging ahead. Shiki, oh, nice stun from Lonham. He saw that one coming. Shiki put himself in the trees, gets caught out by the impale. That's going to be another critical pickoff as CDEC lose 2 as they try to push high ground for that tier 3.
Good hero against Viper. Survive. The kiting aspect only exists when you're so massively far ahead that doesn't really matter then in any case. Of course, they're not really getting anything out of this. Viper's gonna go for BKB eventually, but the Ursa will still rip into shreds.
It looks like they're going to continue along the lines of trying to kite the Ursa. Aggressive is now going for what looks to be a Scotty.
Saw him pick up that Orb of Venom. He could still go for, I don't know, Manta would be kind of worthless here.
Is it too late to complete the SNY?
The main reason you go for the Yasha here is just for mobility drums, so that you can kite and your teamfight potential is high. You can chase down with the rocket barrage, but I think he needs more stats. Then I think you're gonna lack for damage.
11. He is so close to that axe. I'm a little bit surprised that EHOME are going to try and push without it, but looks like they'll be okay. CTY managed to get himself out of that bind again with that axe upgrade. Rage, he's just able to walk it off like that.
Actually going for the defusal. Like what his preferred build was in the other game too. At least skipping the blink, but
you got to deal with particularly that silence from old 11, right?
Ooh, Manta. Hey, I feel like it's way too late for that item, but gosh, it is the Night Stalker now completes the Aghanims. He's got Vlads and a gem to complete it. The Lion has a staff coming, the Undying, Ghost Scepter, and a mech. Everybody's just so farmed right now from EHOME. Figured that this Undying, he had to play the hard 5 position and
they wouldn't be able to pick up that much,
yeah,
but he's just been able to survive through so many of these engagements, in part because of his allies. The excellent timings by Lonham to come in with the right disable or multiple OD imprisonments. Double rotating on so many heroes. XD is going to be able to jump in and catch old 11, but it's really going to be worth it. Throws down Wilson, going back the rest of EHOME. They'll get to kill the Night Stalker, but it's going to be a trade-off. They lost their faceless void. The big thing, though, is that gem, but CTY's already come in from behind. He's going to make sure this isn't an easy fight for CDEC to be able to get the game. Maybe not. He's actually doesn't have his ultimate up. Nice stun from Lonham once again. Taka put himself in the front line. Old Chicken has that ultimate, trying to stow as much intelligence as possible before dropping. Will be able to get the win for Wyvern. Aggressive chase down by CTY once again with that fresh enrage up. Old challenged by Gardner, but and realized he's got to run himself the hell away. But surrounded by EHOME, who managed to back up that gem. And they're actually going to try and go for a little bit more. Old Chicken, though, not able to reach Shiki in time. This is going to be Roshan number 3 now for EHOME.
CDEC are just getting shish kebabbed in every single fight. They have to open up with the Chronosphere, one of the Night Stalkers, because that's the hero you see. And you just hope that that's an okay engagement, but CDEC, I think they're starting to fast realize the type of position that they're in. That fight almost looks okay for second 2. CTY wasted the initial ulti and the BKB, looked like he was going to get kited around, but because of the Aghanim Scepter, the Enrage was already up by the time that the BKB was over. It's almost like he's invincible. He possibly
enraged into BKB, into another enrage.
Exactly. And you're killing this hero is just taking a lot out of them. They have to use the Void Chrono to set up for the initial kill because he doesn't have a Blink Dagger, so you can't really rely on him to find the backline like you normally would with a Void. So you take what you can get in that situation. EHOME are just winning every single fight from here on out.
Now, this is something I've seen from multiple pubs as the teams were kind of getting ready for this major, the OD Octarine Core. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's really strong. It gives you a ton of mana, a ton of intelligence to work with.
He managed to lifesteal off of the Arcane Orb as well.
Got the Entity's Eclipse on it as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's
It's
the
such a long cooldown.
big thing, right? Is that you come in, you try and get a couple of intelligence hits off, and then you always drop the ultimate. If that's up a bit earlier, EHOME will have a faster tempo in being able to fight. Gardner? Oh dear, that might not even be initiation. They do get the imprisonment off. That's going to be able to turn things around. The Winter's Curse, just a saving grace for now for CDEC. XD comes in, will be able to get the chrono on too, but there's still CTY to deal with. Right now he's on top of Shiki. They're trying to kite him around, but he's just in the middle of everything. Got that 8. They've blown up the bounty hunter already, and here comes the rest of EHOME surging forward after that chronosphere. Gonna be able to catch multiple heroes on Ao Shiki. He's not gonna be able to rotate away. It looks like is EHOME. Old Chicken, all right, he might not be able to get him. Q, meanwhile, taken out by Lanham. Old 11, no, he really wants to be able to get aggressive with the help of CTY, and it looks like they will be able to get him. Viper has had to retreat all the way into the dire jungle just to be able to get him. Q, he's put himself up on the trees, will be able to fly himself out for a moment, but Lanham quick to catch him every single time. Line has been on point. The one fight for EHOME, who are going to be turning to high ground very soon.
They were actually lucky that they didn't lose the Viper right now. And it's another, I think that's the 5th or 4th consecutive fight that they've lost. Even then it looked somewhat okay. The problem is that CTY is playing this role of the wall. Just runs in, the rest of his team has to deal with him. XZ's like, guys, I've got a 3-man chrono over here. They're just like, we can't. What do you want us to do?
Yeah, you run through the Ursa. That's not going to be a feasible plan. And now EHOME still have that Aegis intact. CTY's going to jump on a Shiki right away. Pops the Enrage. This is why they had so many of those 4-stab pickups. So necessary to be able to save his allies against the quite fast Ursa.
Just trying to force him back because he is the Aegis. You want to high ground with this hero anyways. You want to put him between. Time and time again, you see what he's doing. He's putting himself between CDEC and the rest of his teammates.
Right.
Just create this barrier where either you lose a hero or you have to run past them.
I mean, you've got some pretty good glass cannons. Old Chicken, you also have the Lion sitting in the background as well. These are heroes that can dish out amazing amount of disables and damage if they just have that kind of frontline hero, and CTY is making sure that's always the case. And now he's even tankier and harder to get away from, too. Scotty picked up for CTY now.
Fully completed Scotty, already ramps himself up 3.2k HP. Most importantly, Cap, you BKB on top of the Ags, like we already talked about the interaction where you can just do one after another. And most importantly, now you've got just pure HP.
Do you think that the idea behind the Ag Viper, if he had actually been able to forego the mech, and then not go the Axe and go more of a damaging build that we've seen from Vipers before. Perhaps he goes for the early S and Y, that sort of thing. Would that have been a better plan to be able to deal with the Ursa in the late game, or was it just never feasible to challenge EHOME this late?
I don't think could have really challenged them to begin with, like this later on into the game. Viper's always just going to be kind of running away.
Right.
And he's going to get chased down so easily, but CTY doesn't his ultimate just go off the curve.
Gonna get off time. Nice quick pick off there. Lanham and Old Chicken making the double blink initiation. They were probably expecting CTY to be the one who comes out and tries to pop a hero, but EHOME changed things up this time around. Tombstone is going to be taken out by CDEC, but you can see how scared they are. It's a nice 2-man stun from Lanham. Old Ticket's going to come in, manage to lay out the ultimate. Aggressive quite low. CTY trying to deal with him. Nice Chronosphere, but unfortunately caught Aggressive as well. Not so nice after all. XD trying to deal any amount of damage he possibly can. The Winter's Curse goes out, but CTY doesn't really care. He just pops the BKB, runs right on through, and tries to challenge Aggressive defense. He's laying into him, and unfortunately the Black Cannon itself is just not enough to kill ADP. Support EHOME are just hiding around the gyrocopter rather than the other way around. Kaka, he's got the ghost step, he's trying to get away. Old Chicken is going to be left to die. Kaka not going to be able to escape either, as too many slows. EHOME perhaps just a bit too over-aggressive this time.
Maybe just a little bit. I mean, they're diving behind tier 4 towers just to pick off individual kills. They don't even bother going for the tier 3 mid initially. I think that was a little...
Whoa, Garter! That is definitely a gem. Looks like that's going to be a bit of a veto. XD comes in, doesn't have the Chronosphere, of course. CTY, they're trying to kite him around as much as possible. Shiki is so slow, but fortunately they will have enough damage to be able to deal with him this time around. EHOME Can't believe they stuck around for that. They just lost 2, and then they still have the confidence to try and take a fight, get some sort of pick off from the bounty hunter, which is very clearly a bait from CDEC.
That was straight up insanity by EHOME. They got way too overconfident, and probably more than that, they probably just got overhyped. A lot of these guys are still somewhat new to Dota, playing at this kind of level, and so they probably just like, you know, let's get these guys. They're gonna give up soon. We want every fight. Whatever.
What about this Crimson Guard pickup from Bounty Hunter? I mean, we usually see some sort of utility build. It's usually the mech. We're talking about, you know, that little bit of interaction between the Viper and the Bounty Hunter. Both of them like to try and pick up a mech for their team. So instead, he goes to different utility items. Crimson Guard.
What kind of world are we living in where CDEC is going to get the first rack to the game?
I'm not sure, but it looks like it's going to happen here. The melee rack's definitely going down unless Ursa's got a buyback in. He doesn't seem to want to. They've already blown. Oh, there goes the buyback coming in. They're now going to TP out. Aggressive doesn't have the BKB anymore, so there's nothing really protecting here unless the Chronosphere go ultimate. But CTY, he doesn't actually get caught by this one. He is getting backed up though multiple times. BKB, Winter's Curse now. Next one coming in. XD tries to challenge old chicken. Nope, he has got no damage to do so. And CDEC just need them to try and make some sort of clean extraction. But of course, EHOME have these Blink Daggers. They have the Night Stalker as well. CDEC may be forced to fight here. Aggressive is actually burned, dealing with the homie. This is running at him. CTY. Oh, the ultimate drop by old chicken. He's just zapped up so much intelligence at a certain point. It was going to be able to nuke down everyone on the side of CDEC. And now it's just cleanup time. EHOME going to try and find as many kills as possible, and they get every single one of them. Don't drop a peep.
For a second, just this brief second, I was like, CDEC, they're doing it. They force CTY to buy back. Fighting, they look okay in this team fight. They keep force staffing backwards. Then the hammer just gets dropped from the Outworld Devourer.
And we were talking about it. You have to deal with that OT eventually.
He's a monster now.
This is like the third fight in a row where I felt like, you know, they just had to get that one quick objective and then back out. And they just never seem to want to do so. They always kind of get caught. They seem to be torn when it comes to backing away and fighting.
They had the hard commit as well for Moonstone. I think they even used the BKB on the Gyrocopter. It actually ends up going for the Manta style. Doesn't the OD Arcane Orb just destroy that though?
It deals with collisions pretty damn well.
And at bottom, EHOME are going to go for this set of racks too. CDEC, they really don't want to have to buy back for this. They're so close up anyways.
Yeah, Gyrocopter doesn't even have his buyback, so now they're just going to try and jump forward. Managed to draw a little bit of time away from their bottom lane racks, so it looks like EHOME are going to have to go home without that prize. XD be able to catch somebody here. Tombstone is going to be laid out. CDC not going to be able to charge past that one.
And
that is a clean extraction right there.
At least they only lost one rack for that. And CDC, they still have some win condition, which is the crazy part. Like,
yeah, kill CTY.
Yeah. Ursa,
no buyback.
And you just go for it. Maybe you've got an opportunity here. I think if there's any time to play aggressive right now, it's right now. You go for a smoke or something, try to find the Ursa and win the game.
Kill CTY, Roshan's coming up. I mean, those are two different timings that CDEC are actually in a pretty advantageous position, seeing as they didn't blow any buybacks.
Look, they're going for the smoke.
Yep.
Find CTY. This is it's crazy right now that CDEC still have a win condition. Being down 15k and against the Ursa, they're gonna check the Roshan pit, but it's not gonna be up for a full minute. Ursa's gonna complete a basher. Only for CDC, he doesn't have it on him quite yet. They're just looking in the wrong direction right now. Might even get flanked here if they break the smoke, farm some creeps to push in the mid wave.
They're just sitting together mid right now.
They're gonna clash.
If they could have been this high ground, perhaps the fight can still go okay. Kaka pops his ultimate, lays down the tombstone defensively here, knows that this is not a fight he can afford to be popped right away. C2I comes in from the side, starts going for Q, but that's not going to be the target. He just cold embraces himself. Aggressive is now dealt with the tombstone. The imprisonment will only hold Kaka for so long. They're going to be able to run him down now. Old Chicken pops the Shivas, but this seems to be a fight that EHOME are a little bit too spread. XD's going to be able to catch Old 11. Now Old Chicken comes in, drops the open, actually brings pretty low, but still a great chronos from XD. Holding an Old Chicken, they're going to be taking him out. CTY, he's going to be kited around pretty heavily unless somehow these supports can put a stop to this. Aggressive, oh, he gets taken out as he gets bashed up. gonna be next is BKB going to town, another back, Old Chicken, he bought back, Shiva's on in, gonna be able to catch the Viper on the way out as well, and XD, he's not getting away, he's been completely drained by Lana. He knows his only hope is to potentially kill Lana, but that's not gonna happen. He keeps his distance, 4 down from CDEC, and now EHOME are definitely gonna be forcing some sort of buyback, so we're gonna take Roshan, get that agent from Cheese, go down mid, and CDEC, they've only got a buyback on the Viper right now.
We've got 2 options right now for EHOME. You take the Sega's Cheese, you try to dethrone it. I don't know how likely that is. At worst, CDC only lose 1 set of racks, I think. That's an okay scenario to play from.
I mean, looking at the fight, it looks so good. The way that CDC were very grouped up, they were controlling the fight pretty damn well. They got the pick off on Conka. They turned to go for the Night Stalker. Like, Old Chicken just really doesn't manage to get off really any good position whatsoever. EHOME bit too spread, and then he comes back in, drops that ultimate. It was just so much damage. And that double Chronosphere looked good, but between the buybacks there of the OD,
problem is, look at Lana's position in this fight. He's on the side, he's just annoying them like crazy. He gets a stun off on 3 heroes during the Chronosphere timing, so they can't utilize it as much as should have. Definitely gonna lose at least 1 rack there, as EHOME are just gonna back off. Engage is...
EHOME have taken the important racks at bottom lane. Yeah, the rack is down.
Back and forth game.
But again, this is a situation. They don't have buybacks because of gold, but if CDC can actually get that gold, they've still got a really good shot at being able to find some sort of win condition here. A minute and a half until Ursa's buyback is up, and then you still have another 5 minutes for both the Undying as well as the OD. But it looks like EHOME are still going to try and force this fight with the initiation. Old 11 is going to try and bounce up to as fast as possible. Red Digby is going to be target here, already down to half HP, but CTY have a hard time staying on top of them. They will be able to save Kaka. CTY now through the attention to Shiki, who's trying to run himself away. Nice turnaround Winter's Curse. That's going to be able to holding the 2 carries. Chronosphere on top. CDC, they're just ignoring the big damage dealers and dealing with all the support from behind. They've already caught 2. Now are they going to be able to turn this one? CTY, he's going to fight it out. Aggressive, managed to get a bit of a save, but Old Chicken doesn't carry. He's got the pure damage and the magic damage to take out the gyrocopter carry. Shiki is having to deal with CTY once again, but he just can't seem to lose this bear. Stares right on his tail, and Garter, he's not going to be getting out either. That's going to be... Whoa! CDEC just falling from there. They had buybacks on 3 different heroes, but I realized that this is just not possible to fight anymore. It's too late into the game.
No, Old Chicken still has the Aegis. I think at that point, call it safe. We've invested everything that we could have. Brought it somewhat close, actually. It's being down 30,000 experience. They were somehow able to make a game out of it, but really exciting game 1.
And EHOME, as you were talking about, they managed to bend and did not break. In fact, they